Welcome to another episode of Naps and Taps. I would say episode number, but it's been so long since we did one I can't even remember. It'll be in the title here. Episode 5? 4? Maybe?
Episode 1 of 2019.
Yeah, episode 1 of 2019. What's up? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, man.
Tell me all about Hong Kong.
I heard.
The time away.
Okay, we'll start with me. Expensive. That's the only thing that I got from Hong Kong, besides all the free food that I was able to extract from my family. You know, my dad drives a Toyota Corolla or Camry, and like half a tank of gas in Hong Kong is $100 Canadian.
Woof.
Yeah,
Half a tank.
Half a tank. We're just getting, and it's so weird because nobody does their own gas in Hong Kong. Like you pay people to do it. Or they're just like gas station attendants. You just give them your card and they just do it, right? And then the bill came in. It was like more than 600 Hong Kong dollars. So it was like 100 Canadian for half a tank of gas. And here we are complaining in Toronto when we see the gas prices go up by like 10 cents. Oh my God, it's fucking crazy.
Well, it's the same like in New Zealand. It's like twice as expensive as Canada and the US, but people still moan here about gas, and it's crazy that people moan about it in the US because it's like some of the cheap. It's basically outside of the actual oil countries. Like the US is probably going to be the cheapest in the world.
Yeah, right.
Still like,
and people are losing their shit.
Our gas.
Yeah.
Is it like I've visited friends in Singapore, and like I know that like owning a car there is just expensive AF. Full stop. Because I don't know about the gas prices, but like it's criminally expensive to like register your car and have the right to own one. Is it like that in Hong Kong too? Or is it just the gas?
It is because of the tax, you know, because basically they tax everything that's basically a luxury good, right? And in Hong Kong, we consider cars to be a luxury good because there's just so many public transportation and it's so small that only rich retarded people would get cars just to show off and you know I've grown up around my peers from when I was a teenager. My peers were all kind of like rich, snobby, like upper echelon rich people. And I remember when I used to hang out with one of my friends at her place, and then we would just go to their clubhouse, you know, because they have clubhouses, you know, and like basically you just take all your activities from home and then you do them at this clubhouse. Yeah. So this is no different from and then we would just get in the car and drive like 10 seconds to their clubhouse. You know? So we would drive from their mansion to the clubhouse, which is just down the street 10 seconds away. So just
like you just want to be like a big baller and show that like I've got a vehicle to be here. Like it'd be like one of those things. I guess
it's so stupid. Like they have 3 cars and then we just get into the car. Where are we going? The clubhouse. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Let's go now.
I guess it's like they don't want to be seen by everyone else at the clubhouse. Like walking up, like you got to be seen. Like,
you're gonna be seen arriving in a car. Or some shit like that. Yeah.
Throw the keys at the valet. Do that whole like, routine.
Yeah, like money in Hong Kong is kind of like this. It's like I mean, everywhere it's a status symbol, but more like it's just more so in Hong Kong. It seems like it's more prevalent and it's more apparent, and you just see it everywhere. And like people,
what's up, Kimmer?
People acquire money as a sort of a competition with others. Like in other places, I see probably here mostly people just get money to get money. Yeah, you know, so that we can have some.
Keeping up with the Joneses is an English expression, so it's definitely a thing.
Right, exactly. Isn't it a show now? It's like
maybe.
Oh no, Keeping Up with the Kardashians is basically a
but I think there's like Keeping Up with the Joneses might be a show as well. But like it's the old saying of like you look out the window, your neighbour's got a new car, you got to get a new one, and like you know. All that sort of BS.
When I was in Hong Kong, we went to a lot of neighboring cities. One of them was Shenzhen. And Shenzhen, in my mind, has always been like this poor, kind of polluted, dirty, messy city. Yeah. And the rate at which Shenzhen has improved and advanced technologically and socially, economically has just been insane. I go to Shenzhen and I completely can't recognize the place. Yeah. You know, just everything's cleaned. Looks like a completely different city. You know, people are nice and it's clean. The malls, cars, electric cars everywhere. Wow. First of all, all the taxis are electric cars. Yeah, all of them. You know, BYD. I don't know if you know. It's just a Chinese electric car company made especially to target Tesla, to try to bring down Tesla.
No, I never heard of them.
And Shenzhen is famous for massages. You know, that's what all the people from Hong Kong go to Shenzhen to de-stress and decompress and get massages.
Like the actual relaxing massage, like your happy ending kind.
Yeah, because I went with my dad, so that would be super weird. We both got to double father and son happy ending massages. I was actually hoping no.
That would be kind of sick.
But we actually did massage, which was weird enough. Just a father and son massage was already quite weird, but it was so good. There's something about, I don't know if you've ever been like deep tissued massaged.
No, I haven't. Like I kind of like.
It's kind of like a high. You know, you just kind of like, oh.
Dude, I spent like 4 months in Southeast Asia and didn't even get a single massage because I was kind of like, I was always so on the go, and I was like, oh, I'll get one of those tomorrow, whatever. It's always there, and then next thing you know, I'm leaving, and I'm like, I didn't even like. They're like $10 for like an amazing massage supposedly in like Southeast Asia. Didn't even get one the whole 4 months I was there.
Yeah.
Next time I go to Southeast Asia, I'm like getting one on the first day so I don't fuck that up again.
Especially since you've never had it before, so it's like the first high. Yeah. It's gonna be the you gotta always chase that elusive first high. People keep going back for massages hoping to get that first experience.
Yeah. I can't believe I didn't do it. Like when I spent a month training at Tiger Muay Thai in Phuket, and there's like 3 or 4 different shops / stalls on the street, all like massages, like $10 or whatever equivalent, and didn't do one the whole month I was there. Just basically walked around like a broken man every day, not paying for a damn massage each day like some rookie.
The massages that we got were expensive. They were like, they put you in this like oasis type, fake trees and water, and you can hear the like white noise machines and all that shit. And then the masseuses are, they gave me like 2 hours of deep tissue massage. It's completely, you forget everything.
Yeah, after about 10 minutes, I'm like, oh, I'm good, but I've never had a proper massage like I've had, like, the...
Yeah, they just focus on each body part, like half an hour on your calves and half an hour on your thighs, and then, like, it's crazy. And they had this trick. I don't know, I was suspected that it's a trick. They showed me, like, this coin. Like, oh, we're gonna put this coin inside of an egg, and we're gonna roll that egg around your body to sort of capture all the toxins. And then after they roll around my body, they took out the egg, and this coin became like this black ball.
That's
like a squash ball.
Yeah.
They put a like a quarter in at first. And then after rolling around my body, it became like a squash ball. So this was all the toxins in your body. I was like, wow, that's a neat trick. I was like, when did you swap that out?
It's a pretty good voodoo.
I know.
Gimmick, but it's pretty cool.
So that was my 1 day in Shenzhen, and then I spent another day in Macau, and that is a whole.
Is that all these things like ferry rides? Or?
Yeah. An hour away.
Yeah.
Shenzhen an hour away by train. Macau an hour away by.
Oh,
by
so there's
ferry.
like a land connection to some of China from Hong Kong as well.
Easy. Yeah. And Macau. I don't know if you know about Macau.
I know about it. Haven't been there, but it's basically like Asia's Vegas.
Las
right?
Vegas, yes, Las Vegas, Asia. But it's like Las Vegas on crack.
Yeah.
It's like
Las Vegas. Like Vegas is other places on crack. So you're giving it like crack again.
Yeah, but then the thing is, Vegas might have been all that back in the whatever decade that it was all that, but now Vegas people, it's just like retirees going there.
Have you been to Vegas?
Yeah.
I've been to Vegas. It's still pretty pumping, man.
Oh, is it still pumping?
Depends where you go. Like they've got like huge clubs and like big casinos and like depends where you go. There are some like older casinos that are definitely where the retirees and older people hang out and like conferences. But I love Vegas. I'm hoping to go again in July.
Okay, I was only there for 7 hours. So it was just like a quick layover. And
you definitely got to like actually.
I didn't see that much.
You don't need more than 3 nights. Than 3 nights.
Vegas
after
is
3
a
nights,
weekend
you
town.
kind of like lean over. You feel like your brain's going to start dripping out your ears. I spent a week there once. Way too much.
I can't imagine anybody spending or living there. Actually, but Macau, basically anybody who lives in Macau works for the casinos.
Vegas,
exactly like that, right? And it's just the sheer size and the magnitude of these casinos just dwarfs everything you've seen. Just feels so like pathetic, like it's 5 hotels in one casino.
Yeah.
So you have to take like shuttle buses within the casino to get to different places.
Okay, sounds like they could rival Vegas, but my favorite sort of anecdotal piece of how to understand Vegas is like the first time I went to Vegas in 2011, I went to like a UFC event. I can't remember which number, but it was just the first time that Faber and Cruz fought in the UFC, but they're rematching. So I think they had fought once in Strikeforce, but their first time fighting in the UFC for the belt, which Cruz was the holder at the time of. And we were late to the event, and we got to the MGM And once we got to the MGM, we couldn't find the arena inside the MGM.
That big, huh?
It's like an 18,000 people, well, somewhere between 12 to 18,000, I don't know my facts exactly, but an arena of that size-ish. And we were like, where is it? Normally that sort of thing would stick out like dog's balls, but we couldn't find it within this hotel, and that was kind of like...
so like the size of Scotiabank Arena, basically.
Yeah, we got to a hotel and couldn't find something the size of Scotiabank Arena inside that hotel. Hotel. Took us like half an hour inside the hotel wandering around trying to find it.
Yeah, so that's basically my experience in Macau, just feeling like an ant in a jungle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that wasn't all that exciting, but... so we only went to Shenzhen and Macau during my stay in Hong Kong, and then otherwise I just stayed in Hong Kong and spent a lot of time with family, and had a huge fight with my girlfriend. Just something about the holidays just brings it out of women, I think.
It can do that, man. I get it. Like, mine doesn't actually want me to go too public with this because she doesn't want her friends bombarding her with messages and like.
Nobody's gonna watch this.
Exactly. Like, well, I didn't actually have a big fight with mine, but I'm single now, and that's probably about all I'm really going to say about it on the podcast out of respect for her, because it's kind of part of her life too, and she doesn't want to be too public.
What do you think?
All I'm going to say is it's just like there wasn't any throwing of kitchenware, there wasn't any yelling, really any fighting. We just kind of like, after a couple of weeks of discussions and stuff, we just kind of figured that my goals were to the left, her goals for the future were to the right, and that's kind of us now. But yeah, so
in my opinion, like, for a relationship to sustain and to grow and to improve in any way, like, you have to fight. That's my experience. Like, when people tell me, oh, like, we never fight, like, oh, we never have a conflict. Well, that's just like a very superficial and a shallow type relationship. It's kind of like a colleague, like you just say hi and whatever. But like,
definitely, like,
the only way that you can really truly understand someone is to show your true self and the other person as well, and then try to resolve any sort of differences through conflict.
I agree with that to a degree. I'll talk in general terms, not just my last relationship. Yeah. I mean, just in previous relationships I've had, like, I've never really had like the yelling and screaming matches in relationships, but like, I've never like
had so many.
But also, like, I don't really sort of filter myself after long enough. Like, I'll still be me, and like, most of the time, like, sometimes it just involves like a little bit of talking. Like, if we've got differences, you talk through them, you work through them, and like, I don't pretend to be someone I'm not for the sake of staying in a relationship. Because I've done that. Start like, well, I mean, I'm 10 years older than you. I probably did that I probably did do some of that in my early to mid 20s, but then I kind of quickly realized that you got to give that up, and if being you's not going to work, then you might like or love this person, but you'll stop liking and loving yourself, and that's probably a bigger problem. So, now I'm just like on the hunt for places to live in Toronto, which is its own kind of torture and brutal hell. I've looked at one place so far. It was in a basement, looked depressing AF. I haven't heard back from the dude, so I assume I didn't get it. Not too sad about that, to be honest.
You need a little bit more time, you can't just find a place in like 2 weeks unless you're super you have a lot of money to throw around. You need to not just a money issue. Pick like locations and
I'm trying to like
your roommates and who you want to.
Well, we'll see. I mean, like, I'm trying to like get as close to Toronto BJJ as I can, because that'd kind of be the dream, to be able to walk to and from training.
You should maybe ask some of the guys around. Maybe they know, like Mosley. Mosley, David Mosley.
Yeah.
He lives around the corner, and I think David Wilcox also lives around the corner. Like, they might know something.
Yeah, I know Wilcox, but I might know. I mean, I know Mosley. Sorry, I might know Wilcox, but I'm not putting a face name at the
Purple Belt, who teaches with Vince.
Oh yeah. I got you. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been just using Buns on Facebook so far, and like, I've got
Viewit.ca. Have you tried?
I haven't really. I've got to go to there in Kijiji and look
I found
around
this place on Viewit.ca.
Nice. It's a good spot, but I'm kind of hoping to get somewhere with roommates as opposed to my own spot, because one, I don't have any sort of kitchen supplies and all that sort of shit that you actually need to have a house to yourself. But it's it'd be good to sort of meet a few more people in Toronto, and living with roommates could be good for that. Plus, I'll probably get a nicer place than I can afford with just having to have one to myself. So.
My main sort of goal for going back to Hong Kong this time was to reconnect with my father.
Yeah.
You know,
How'd that go?
It went well. You know, it's like, I think father and sons, or maybe men in general, we have this more of an unspoken type relationship. You know, maybe with men and women, like we're more talkative. Like a man with a woman, or me with my mom, it's so easy to talk, or like it's just natural to say everything.
Yeah.
And like with me and my dad, like we can just we haven't really spent any time for the past 6-7 years, and then we meet and then we talk for briefly. You know, he likes to tell me stuff that I already know. You know, like, oh, like the music business is really competitive. I'm like, oh really? Oh okay.
Yeah.
Oh, then I'll just go change my plan. Then thanks for telling me. I didn't know that before.
Yeah.
You know, he would just say a lot of stuff like, oh, it's really hard to make it as a musician nowadays. Oh. Really?
Yeah. Tell me more.
Oh God! Why didn't you tell me that? Right?
I'm going back to business school.
Yeah. Maybe I should just be an accountant. Oh, thanks, Dad.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I should just be. Whew, saved me so much trouble.
Yeah, yeah,
you know?
exactly.
And, but you know, he's actually secretly a comedy fan. He loves comedy.
You should be still doing that instead of the music thing and get Dad off your back.
Yeah, and I do that, and he's like.
It's kind of like respect. I love the fact that you're chasing the music dream, but it's kind of good that you've got like a little bit of a comedy background.
Yeah.
Because I always remember growing up, and you'd go see bands, and you always loved the ones where the lead singer was like a little bit funny between songs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
That's my thing.
He's probably not. He probably prefers being a rock star to a stand-up because he's probably making more money being a rock star. But he does like a few minutes of stand-up amongst the hour or so they're on stage. And everyone's like, man, that band was awesome, and the lead singer was funny, so you could be that guy.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how I've been doing most of my shows. Like, because especially in the beginning when we don't have that many songs to play, mostly covers and 1 or 2 originals.
Exactly. Just fill in time.
Just fucking 5-minute bits and whatever. And I've been doing that, and he's like, yeah, this is great. I show him some of my clips and all that stuff, and yeah, it's just like me and my father are so similar. Yeah, and they're just so similar people, and similar people tend to not get along as well as, you know, polarizing type people. Yeah. You know, so I get along as much as I hate women. Some of the closest people in my life are women. You know, as much as I always shit on and it's women and all that problems, but my closest friends. I wouldn't
say you hate them. You just vent about them a lot.
Yeah, I just like venting about them. Yeah, just, you know, just like how women say, "Oh, I hate men," but they don't hate men. They need them. You know, and
be careful now. We'll get me too.
My closest friends are women because I can communicate with them the best, and I don't communicate that well with my dad. But then I don't really need to. It feels like we have this telepathic.
It's weird. Across cultures, it's all kind of the same. Because me and my dad, being like white New Zealanders compared to you two Hong Kong fellas, we're kind of pretty much the same. Like, it's kind of unsaid and it's understand. It's all
the whole male-female thing. It crosses all cultures and boundaries.
Yeah. Exactly. So, what else can we have a yarn about? Did you you would have seen the solo rant I had to throw up on our channel about Jon Jones. I might give you like right of reply. Did you have like a stance on the UFC's handling of that issue? Or?
I wasn't too caught up with it because I was just halfway across the world and I didn't have time to really look up on it. But you can give your recap if you want.
Well, I mean, like it's already sitting there on our YouTube channel, so if you guys want to go back and look at that, you can. I spoke for about 5.5 minutes on it, but to 4.5, maybe whatever, can't remember. But the cliff notes that I had to try and sum it up in like 30 seconds was like, hey, maybe he is innocent this time. And actually, since I posted that rant and since he fought, he's had a drug test which showed he was clean. So maybe this time he is clear, but I just kind of still thought it was fucked up. Like, I've been to Vegas 3 times for UFC events, New York once, travel each time, plus hotels. I would have been fuming if, like, you know, I'd traveled across the world or across a continent and they're like, we're moving it to a different city now. I kind of felt that, and the fighters are sort of like preparing to be in one city and everything. I just kind of felt that the UFC should have said, hey man, we back you on this. It's unfortunate, but Nevada won't license you. Hard lines will get you on another card. But they, like, moved the whole event for one dude, which, even though he's been vindicated now, I still kind of thought that was... I still thought it was a little bit off, but I get it. Like, they make so much more money out of pay-per-view than they do ticket sales that they're going to do it. And they probably don't care whether people like me are kind of like I've travelled 3-4 times, but now I'm probably going to hesitate travelling for a UFC event. I'm certainly not travelling for anything Jon Jones is on. I've actually been stung by Jon Jones before. I was at went to Vegas for UFC 200, and he was meant to fight Cormier on that card, but that was when he got caught pissing hot like 2 days out, and he got pulled. So Cormier fought Anderson Silva in one of the most boring fights ever. Not Cormier's fault, because like, you know, Silva had like no day's preparation, didn't have any dynamic strength, and Cormier just lied on him. But fuck, man, it's a fight. You got to do what you've got to do to win a fight. I don't begrudge Cormier for using his wrestling, but yeah. So I've actually been at a card in Vegas at Jones's ruin, but at least I got to see the rest of the card. At least they didn't shift the thing away.
Yeah.
So
I feel like they always try to bring down the top guy. You know, when in whichever sport, the top guy is always going to get tested the most.
Yeah. Well, when you've got Jon Jones's history, why would they not be testing you?
Especially with Jon Jones's history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen he's now on a card for Vegas again though? Like they've got a card in March sometime in Vegas, and I think possibly because of the one from Vegas getting shifted, they're overcompensating. Like I can't remember what the number it is, and I haven't done any research because of like all the shit that's been going on this week with looking for a house. Normally I'm the nerd with the notes here, but I'm just as unprepared as you are. So we're like flying by. But it's like, I think there's like, the next card in Vegas has got like 2 or 3 title fights with Jon Jones being one of them on the card. They're just like loaded up to try and be like, sorry, love us again, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of jiu-jitsu guys are juicing like crazy.
Yeah.
You know, do you know who Gordon Ryan is?
No, I actually, like, despite me doing like being into jiu-jitsu for training it, I don't really.
You don't follow jiu-jitsu. You follow UFC mostly.
Oh yeah, I follow you. I should follow jiu-jitsu more.
Yeah.
I know a few names that I see doing videos on the internet.
Cornelius. And all
yeah,
that
like
shit.
I see a few, but yeah, I don't follow it as much as you do. I really should.
I know a lot more about jiu-jitsu than about UFC.
Yeah.
You know, like Gordon Ryan, he's like this. He's probably the biggest name in jiu-jitsu right now. He's like this 23, 24-year-old kid, and he just jumped weight from like middle to like ultra heavy.
Really?
And he's so clear. He's juicing.
That's not ringing alarm bells for anyone.
Hardcore. But then like the thing is, the rules are different. Because
Yeah.
in jiu-jitsu, there's no like, it's not that well governed by any like doping agency. Like this.
And also, I guess
it's not even that recognized of a sport yet.
Yeah.
So.
And also, like, you know, in jiu-jitsu, no one's trying to like punch you in the head. Like the main problem that I find with having like performance enhancing drugs in the UFC is if someone gets an unfair advantage to get stronger, that's someone who's gonna use that unfair advantage to punch and kick you in the head.
Yeah.
And that's like, you know, they should be clamping down on that in that particular sport, but you know they should be clamping down on BJJ too. If what you say is, I'm obviously completely unresearched and unknowledgeable on this topic, but if what you're saying is correct, then you'd hope someone would eventually clamp down on it. But
the one thing I feel Hong Kong is very lacking is that we're really behind on all the sports and all the entertainment, especially sports.
Yeah.
There's some entertainment, you know, there's some shows and first of all the music in Hong Kong is just singing.
Yeah,
it's just singing. There's no real band. There's no real. It's just
you don't get Western acts touring through.
Maybe like Coldplay once in a while. Maybe like Maroon 5. Maroon 5 played Macau when we were there. Actually,
really?
Yeah. I mean, no, their ad was on for their upcoming tour in Macau.
Well, I guess anywhere with casino money is probably getting acts through.
Exactly, and but so all the music is basically just pop stars singing with auto-tune and all that, and then all the films are all mafia triad movies from the fucking 90s and still recycling the same formula. But there's like literally no sports. There's no professional sports.
Yeah.
You know, like one of the things that I would love to do with my dad is to like go to see hockey games and like fights. Like that would be some like man bonding shit that we could do together. But there's no such thing.
Yeah, see, that's like me and my dad. We talk on the phone, and like he was actually a really good source of advice for this other stuff I went through recently.
Oh yeah.
But when there's nothing major in life going on, it's kind of like half the conversation's a little bit about how's work, how's that, and then half of it is like we both live away from New Zealand now. So
where is he now?
He's in Dubai.
Oh.
Just moved there a few months ago. But yeah, so we spend like half the phone conversation talking about New Zealand sport teams and that sort of carry on.
Is he a big sports guy as well?
Yeah, he's a big sports guy. Like we follow like both the New Zealand sports, but he's not really into like hockey or like any of the North American ones I am. But yeah,
so rugby.
Yeah, rugby, cricket, rugby league. What was I going to say? He got a job at like, you know, that hotel that everyone thinks of when they think of Dubai, the one shaped like a sail.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's like I don't know his exact job title, but he's like high up in the engineering department at that. So,
Cool.
Pretty cool gig.
Yeah, my dad actually he's just retired, and he's gone back to law school.
For real?
Try to become a lawyer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he took me on this case study that he in a real life courtroom to just see how the Hong Kong courts work, and it was really boring actually. There was this.
So both of us have got dads who are killing it in like these corporate careers, and we're just like fuck up, still trying to be entertainers.
I wouldn't say he's killing it. He's just like this, his generation is different. Like I don't know if we're the same, pretty much the same generation, but my generation is all dreamers. Right?
Yeah,
people just grow up wanting to be like Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs and do their own thing. But their generation is all about get a house, get married, and have a job and all that. But his job was just like some sales. I don't think he's ever been too fulfilled by it except for the money. But now he's in school with people. With students younger than me.
Yeah.
His classmates were all kids who were younger than me.
Yeah.
And when he talks to his classmates, a lot of them are telling him that they actually want to be actors. Musicians and like
their parents are like cops you go to law school.
And then his their parents are like, I'll only pay for law school and I won't pay for anything else.
Yeah. You can imagine. Doesn't surprise me much. So you took some pretty impressive drone footage in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about those spots.
My dad loves
some on the.
My dad loves
YouTube.
his toys, so he got a drone and wanted to show off, and took me to some of the more scenic areas of Hong Kong, new territories we call them. Literally, they're called new territories, and some parts of Hong Kong are quite nice without the people, without the city, without the bustling noises and all that, and. Drones are the big thing now. There's a pretty big drone company, DJI.
Yeah.
It's actually based in Shenzhen, their HQ. And quite a lot of Shenzhen is the Silicon Valley of China. So a lot of startups are coming from Shenzhen. The DJI, the drone company, there's a cell phone that's coming up. I think Huawei might be. From Shenzhen. I'm not quite sure, but there's definitely a cell phone company that's coming from Shenzhen. That's I think it's called Mikey or something like that. But it's just cell phones and drones and all this new tech coming out from Shenzhen. So my father, knowing him, jumps on it right away and tries to get the newest best thing always.
Yeah,
he's always been the tech guy in the company in the family, and he got me into all this. Apple stuff when it was big.
So he's the one whose drone you were using for all that stuff. That's pretty rad. I can't
ever used a drone before.
No, I never have.
Yeah, it's surprisingly intuitive. It's very stable.
Yeah.
Like when we were out in those scenic places, the wind was quite strong actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the drone was able to stabilize and. Gave us pretty good footage.
I guess you got top of the line ones, and why not?
It wasn't even
one of the ones with two remotes, like I've seen.
Just one.
So you're operating the camera and the drone on one remote.
Yeah, you basically you can mount your phone on the remote. Yeah. So it's like you can work your iPhone and the remote. So the iPhone is the camera, and then the remote is the drone. Okay, so it's pretty cool. Yeah. Any
problems like? In Hong Kong with people flying them too close to the airport and that sort of shit. Did you see like the kerfuffle in the UK with the clowns flying them?
What happened?
There's some I don't know who got caught, but someone was flying a drone like right by like not Heathrow but the second biggest airport in London.
Yeah.
And like
what is it called? The second biggest?
Stansted, I think is the name of it. Oh no, sorry. There's 3 airports in London, 3 international airports in that city, which is crazy. There's like Heathrow is the biggest. There's Gatwick and there's Stansted. I think Gatwick's the second biggest, which is where this one was. It was like shut down for like 12 hours or something.
And they flew a drone into the restricted airspace in the airport.
Yeah, and they're flying like right by the airport. And they did. It means that like the UK needs to sort out their shit because now they're like basically like okay, well
the UK has a lot of shit to sort out right now.
Yeah, of course. Brexit and all that. I'm not researched enough to talk about that on the podcast. But what a mess. What's up, Kimmer? You're back. Yeah, you're hanging out today.
Even in Hong Kong, we were getting quite a lot of Brexit news. Which is surprising. Yeah.
I guess so. Is it good? Well, Hong Kong's been independent for like 20 years or something, right?
Yeah,
but I guess
now,
It's
22, yeah.
It's one of those things that when you have that history of being a former colony, it probably still dominates your news cycle to a degree.
Yeah, but mostly it's just for entertainment. You know, we're just kind of laughing back at
Exactly.
our
It's the same thing. Like
it's like our ex stepmom or stepdad.
Yeah.
Like, look at you fucking up.
Look at you clowns.
Yeah.
No, it's New Zealand's still a colony, and the thing is, like, sometimes when depends what's happening in your part of the world. Like, I've got this American friend who gets super annoyed when non-Americans talk about American politics and weigh in with their opinions. And I get it. Like, he's actually got to, he actually pays taxes into that system and he's got to live his life there. So, of course, he's going to have his opinions on how he wants his tax dollars being spent, what's best for his life, whereas I'm just some shit talker from the outside. But on the other flip side of the coin, New Zealand politics is so goddamn boring and nothing happens.
I think Canadian politics is quite boring.
Exactly. That I've got to the US is such good theatre that you kind of get sucked into watching that.
It's entertainment. It's entertainment. Now news, whatever that means, it's just entertainment.
Especially with the current orange baboon in charge, it's like, I mean, I thought he was a douche before he even became president, so I'm like the hipster of hating Donald Trump, the whole I hated him before anyone else.
You hated him before it was cool.
Yeah, exactly. I hated him before he was cool. You see him feeding McDonald's to that high school or college football team, whatever it was.
No.
It was hilarious, just a few days ago, because the shutdown has also affected everything right down to the kitchen staff.
Right.
You know how the White House...
Oh, yeah.
The White House would normally host championship sports teams.
Yeah.
The kitchen staff is all fucked off because of the shutdown.
They gave them McDonald's,
so they brought in more McDonald's than you could ever possibly imagine in one spot. The funniest thing was they still had the fancy silverware out. There's a photo of the little individual packets of nugget sauce sitting
on a
in
gold plate,
sitting in a piece of silverware that goes back to the Lincoln administration. Yeah.
Oh, that's so Donald Trump. That's like Donald Trump's administration in a picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Lincoln silverware with the McDonald's package.
It is exactly it.
Yeah,
it was hilarious, but.
Yeah, American politics was so interesting. I was in college when right before the election, and I was deciding
which one.
No, the Trump Hillary one.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't realize.
I was in college.
You're a late college grad.
Yeah. I took a few years off.
Yeah,
and then so I came back, and then when I was deciding my major, I was like, maybe I should do political science so I can get into this, and I did that, and I actually called.
I can't imagine the tears that would flow through a political science department the day that Trump won that election.
The thing is, I was the only one in class who thought that Trump was gonna win.
Yeah,
and nobody paid me any mind. Yeah. It was so funny. Because if you look back, it's actually quite obvious who would win. It just swings from left to right.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just you just look at the historical pattern. If there's a left president for 4 to 8 years, the next one's going to be right.
Yeah.
It's never failed.
Yeah.
So if you just objectively look, okay, it's been 8 years of a super left president. The next one's going to be super right. No doubt. And I was like, can you guys not see? You don't need a fucking degree to see simple patterns like that. Like, no, it's gonna be Bernie. No, it's not gonna be Bernie. No way.
Well, the fact that Democrats ruined that one before it could even start.
Exactly.
But I think probably more to the point, what left-leaning American would want to believe that was possible? Of course, they're just going to be they probably know the patterns, but they're just no, it couldn't happen. It won't happen.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah.
Facts don't care about your feelings, you SJWs.
They do not. Anyway, we're talking about 2-year-old news now. Okay. That's not the greatest for a podcast. UFC news of a different kind. Did you see Joanna Jędrzejczyk went to Thailand and had some work done?
No, what happened?
You should load up those.
Did he...
Joanna Jędrzejczyk, she might have trouble making featherweight now.
Yeah. Or she can fight in the women's, and beat up all the competition.
Do you know who I'm talking about? I've said Joanna 3 times, and you're still saying he. And
oh, I thought it was a guy who transitioned into.
No. That just work on the top half. Joanna, Joanna, the Polish girl who was the champion of the 115-pound division. And
she got work done on her
for a long time.
I didn't even know.
That was only apparently last week. I saw some of the photos floating around. She's modeling the new bikini and admits to having some work done. She didn't go over the top because she's quite a skinny girl, and you don't want to be have a
Double
massive
D.
rack on a skinny girl's body, but she kind of got some work done. Looks pretty good, to be honest. I don't know how I don't know why UFC fighters would take that kind of risk though. You'd think you'd do that after retirement because, like, I don't know. I guess
money.
you don't.
It's for money.
I guess you don't go around intentionally punching people in the chest because it's not exactly something you do either way. But I can imagine if you take like a kick or a punch to like silicone implants, it's like probably not good for them. I'm no doctor or scientist, but
you don't want one exploding in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh God, can you imagine?
Can't imagine that. That's not the kind of highlight reel you'd like to see. But apparently, the same article was saying Paige Van Zandt had them done ages ago, but I didn't even know. I guess because she really didn't go too over the top of hers. They kind of suit her body. I feel gross talking about girls and their breast sisters like this too much, but I'm the one who opened it up. So I don't know. Look up the photos. You be the judge.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Have you looked at there's a UFC event this weekend. Have you looked at the lineup or
What who's the lineup?
UFC Brooklyn? It's the first UFC card on ESPN now because of course ESPN getting the rights. I'm shit research this week just as much as you, if not more so. I know the main event is Dillashaw versus Cejudo. They're fighting at Cejudo's weight class at 125 as opposed to 135, which Dillashaw is the current 135 belt holder and Cejudo's the 125 belt holder. So Dillashaw is trying to be the latest champ. He looks straight up malnourished in some of his latest photos.
It's the weight cutting, man.
Trying to make that weight cut.
The fucking weight cutting is the number one threat to fighters. More so than getting kicked in the fucking head.
Yeah.
It's just it shrinks your heart so bad. It's so bad for your body that your heart shrinks and then you have like permanent cardiovascular issues for that.
The reason why I know you don't drink, but one of the reasons why hangovers are what they are is because like it robs your body of moisture, and that's like your head's so sore from it. I can't imagine like purposely dehydrating yourself and then taking shots to the head. That's why these guys do shit which I'll never do, which is get in a ring to fight mixed martial arts. But yeah, I'd love to see the UFC do something like One Championship does, where they basically try and have stricter controls and limits on weight cutting and make people fight at their actual weights. You'd still have the same guys fighting each other, just the weight classes would move. But yeah, I would. That weight cut is the great lottery for me, and that headliner. Like I would pick TJ to win that fight, and his weight class, I'd probably pick TJ to even win that fight at maybe a catch weight, a 130 or whatever. But with such a huge, I think he cuts a bit of weight to even be in 135. Like it's still a bit below his walking around weight. So the one variable there is how he handles the weight cut. It's going to be interesting to see how he does handle it because, of course, like Demetrius Johnson refused for so long.
Mighty Mouse.
Yeah, Mighty Mouse just straight up kept on turning down that fight because he was like, he wanted like some insurance. Like he was like, if he misses weight, I want to be paid some money because, the UFC's fingers, like fights fall apart and fighters get no compensation for the camps they've spent doing leading up to it. It's just seen as a long-term business expense by them, or they just don't care. So, TJ refused that. Mighty Mouse refused that fight for so long. So he was like, let him fight someone else at 125. Let him prove he can make that weight cut. Then I'll fight him. But TJ just wasn't interested in fighting. Like, he just wanted the money fight as opposed to, going through other people, which is probably fair too when you're a champ of a division above.
Speaking of fighting, like I actually joined a jiu-jitsu gym in Hong Kong for the time that I was there, just so that I don't miss too much training and I don't let the junk food all get to my face too much. But the jiu-jitsu is not nearly as popular as it is here. But then the guys there, I would argue that on average, because there's so few jiu-jitsu practitioners in Hong Kong, so all of them are like 5-6 years in. So I go into a gym where it's all purple belts and above. And I thought that I would be able to hold my own. I wasn't able to tap fucking anybody there. And just getting ragdolled and demolished. And actually I learned so much more in that tiny little gym. The gym was about the size of this living room. So it was just like 6 guys. And it was all purple belts and above. And
well, of course you're going to get like punished. I get punished by the purple belts at our gym. So
but then I came back and last night during training I tapped out a brown belt twice.
Really?
The same brown belt. You know, I think like maybe she was going a little bit easy on me in the beginning, but I tapped her out once, and then the other time I got her again on a footlock, and I was like, holy shit, this is the stuff that I learned back in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And so I was able to surprise her with some new moves. And
oh, well, there you go. Maybe you'll move through and get that purple pretty quick.
It's not about the belt.
It's about the technique. It's funny though. There's a white belt at our gym that's still it's funny seeing people be like how you were at a stage ago. Like I was like belt obsessed down to the point where I was stripe obsessed. Like I was like, I want a stripe.
Oh, really?
You know, that sort of shit. It's so bad. And now that I got the blue, I'm like, well, I'm going to be a blue belt for a very long time, so I may as well just focus on technique and getting better and just trying to get a little bit better day by day, or else, like, if I get belt obsessed now, it's going to be a very long 2 to 3 years for me. So probably closer to 3, considering I was quite surprised to get my blue.
Yeah, being belt obsessed is not a good. It's not a good.
But you know, I saw this like white belt being like that, and he's like, man, I want to get my blue by summer, and I want to get my stripes.
In our gym?
Yeah, in our gym. He was talking to one of the boys in the changing room, and I was like. I get it. And the funny thing is, like, me and the other blue belt that he was talking to, we're giving him the exact same advice blue belts were giving me when I was a white belt that I didn't really take in that well.
It's kind of like this.
You know, it'll just be that cycle. Probably in, like, this time next year, he's going to be a blue belt telling another white belt to, like, you know, not worry about it. It's kind of like a parent-child relationship. Like, from an upper belt to, like, you tell them stuff that you hope that they will learn, and you know that they won't listen. Yeah. And then you know that they have to walk through it. You know that they have to go down their own path. They have to fuck their own shit up. They have to make their own mistakes and learn and grow. So you're like, should I even talk to you? Well, you're still going to make an effort. It's kind of who we are as humans. Like the same thing when I was in university. You know, when you're a first year, you get all this advice from second and third years that is probably pretty good advice, and you just ignore it. You don't pay any attention to it. And then, like next thing you know, next year you see these first year students, and you're like, trust me, this, and that, and they're like, fuck off, old man. Yeah, what do you know? Exactly, they don't care, and you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I've been like, you know, slowly getting like just a little better each session, like tiny increments. I'm starting to feel it now. Like I really felt like a kid on the first day of school, like those first few times doing blue belt stuff, and I you got promoted really fast, you know. Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of hard to gauge my experience. Like 6 months at this gym, but probably I had like a year or so of cumulative experience, but spread over 3 years. So I was definitely rusty, and like I said, I was definitely surprised. But you know, is what it is. I've just got to learn with it and go with it now. I get smashed by some of my fellow blue belts, and definitely like the purples and browns, but like. And so far, I've only got like 2 taps total on people. And yesterday, I got like a tap on some dude who was like a blue belt, but quite a bit smaller than me, you know. So kind of like rolling with higher belts is definitely my I prefer it, to be honest. Like nice higher belts, not those killer ones. Just like gun after you without regard for anything. Most of the higher belts are pretty nice to me. You must be finding people who just don't like you, I guess. No. Like I have like this guy, I forgot his name, I think it was David or something, but he's always been great. He gives me a lot of time to think. You know, he will hold a position for like 10 seconds, not advancing, giving me time to think about what, because my thing is I need time to, because it's just not smooth to me. You know, I don't have it, my muscles haven't memorized all the moves yet. So I need to consciously think, I got to do this there, and he's like, okay, if you're not going to do anything in 10 seconds, I'll do it. Yeah, exactly. You know, so that's kind of where I'm at now. When I roll with a lot of people, it's still kind of all the stuff I'm learning. I'm still kind of thinking about, as opposed to it being muscle. Some of it's muscle, the very basic. All the stuff you learn in white belt class is probably muscle memory for me now. Do you miss being white in a white belt? I miss it a lot. Because they promoted so many people, the white belt classes are like really empty and really quiet now. Oh, yeah? So I kind of like, you could get some real good time with Nacho and Vince and all the rest of the other coaches down there. Yeah. Whereas like upstairs, like you barely get to see the coaches because it's so full now. Yeah. When it was my time to get promoted, I was thinking like, it's going to be me, Andre, and maybe like a few other guys. Yeah. But then it ended up like half the class getting promoted. You know, I was like, okay, no, I've been here the longest, and then maybe Andre, who's also been here the longest, and then maybe like 3-4 other dudes who are like really good, who've had like wrestling backgrounds, and it ended up like people who I thought were way beneath me came promoted as well. That's the thing. Like when I roll, I almost like, you know, some of the classes the white belts do come up. I almost don't want to roll with the white belts because I'm like, fuck, I can't let anyone see me get tapped by a white belt, so I avoid it. But the few white belts I have rolled with, I haven't been tapped by them, so success. But I guess
That's always the gamble of rolling with a lower belt. I mean, right now the only belt lower than us is white. So imagine if you're like a brown belt and then you see a purple, blue, and white. So do you roll with them, risk knowing that there's so much to risk? You know.
I think the thing is though that like I won't say that this is what happened to you because I didn't see it, but I think like. So
I've been tapped by a white belt, but he was like a blue belt disguised as a white belt.
But there's that too. But the thing is that like I've rolled with a couple of brown belts up there, and some of them just punish me, but some of them like purposely put themselves in risky positions against me because they're like, oh, he's a blue belt, I'll put myself in a risky position just to test myself getting out of it. So I don't know if that's what this girl was doing with you or not. But like so there were a couple of times where I felt I was close, but it was really just them putting themselves in risky positions just to practice getting out. But it was last night I kind of felt bad because when I got this guy for tap, it was like, I'm so bad that I can't even remember the name of this technique, even though it's one I know how to do. But basically it's like, how if you're on top in the mount and you get like the underhook and then you've got this hand here and you like grab the collar.
Ezekiel.
Got him with one of those and like
sleeve, not collar.
Well, no, with your own sleeve, to
Ezekiel.
So I got him with the Ezekiel. There you go. I knew that all along. Just testing you. So I got him with that, and he kind of like I had this like delayed reaction to his tap because it had been like a month and a half since someone had tapped for me. And like I probably held it like a little too long, and then I was like, oh shit, sorry. I kind of like had bad reactions on that. Not like super long, like he was still kind of okay, and he wasn't pissed off, but I definitely felt bad. But it was like the shock of, oh, what's this? Someone tapping me? I haven't had this happen in a month and a half, and then I'm like, oh, when that happens, you're meant to let go of them.
Yeah. I tried to do this arm triangle on a fellow blue belt. I forgot her name, but she's this Korean girl who's there every day. I don't know if you've seen her, but she's...
I know the one.
Yeah, exactly. That one, she's tough. She's fast, she's fierce, and like we always roll with each other. We have this thing going with her, this rapport. And I was squeezing the life out of her. Like she's just so tough. I don't know if... sometimes... I don't know if you roll with too many of these guys, but they're like, I call them the never give uppers. They just don't tap, and you're just like, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to. I had my shoulder right. I could feel her fucking throat, her her Adam's apple. Not that she had one, but like I can feel that right up on my shoulder, and she's not tapping. So I just like, okay, I'm not gonna risk crushing your throat.
I had a white belt like that a few weeks ago. Like he kind of like. He got in a few dominant positions earlier that I got out of, but then I spent like out of an 8-minute roll, he kind of actually did dominate the first 2.5 minutes, but then I kind of got out of them, and then I spent like sort of the next 5.5 to 6 minutes pretty much dominating the positions and would have won on points if that was a thing, but I just couldn't get the motherfucker to tap. It was actually getting to the point where it was almost annoying me. Like I had like the back hooks in and like rear naked, and like he was kind of fighting off the supporting hand pretty well, but I kind of got it a couple of times. I was just like, and then from there he still managed to actually kind of get out of the rear naked because I got so tired from holding the hooks. But then I think the one thing I might have got him is like he was so good at he was just really good at fighting the other hand. Like I again went for the Ezekiel, but I got to the point where like I was just like
you gotta get deep. You gotta get deep.
I could kind of.
Otherwise, you fuck your own fingers up.
Yeah, exactly. But it was to the point where I was like, I actually managed to he couldn't get out of the mount, and I just looked up and I saw the clock, and I was almost like, come on. But it's like, so I've had a few of those guys, and they're like, it's real surprise. I don't know what sort of assessment the coaches put on actually your technique versus whether you're just winning or losing rolls, because there's like a dude in our class, the stockier kind of guy, really friendly. He's got a girlfriend who comes with him who like is she's got long brown hair. He's got like
blue belt.
No, they both. I think they're both still white belts, and like he smashed me so much in like the white belt class, but he's like quite a bit bigger than me. Like every time I roll with him, he just smashes me.
What kind of guy is it? Black guy, white guy.
White guy, like kind of like a little bit of a belly, like more than me, but like reasonably stocky and muscly looking as well. Yeah, and his girlfriend always comes with him, and she's like quite tall for a girl. But yeah, and she's quite like strong for a girl and tall as well.
I have a few candidates in mind, but I don't want to. I don't know if I'm being hurt.
But like he's still on white belt, and like he just like every time I've rolled with him, he crushes me and smashes me. But he's like quite a bit bigger than me as well, so maybe like the coaches are kind of like taking into consideration that he.
It's about time. It's about time. It's about how much time. I think ultimately they can't really like judge everybody's abilities and techniques and all that.
Yeah,
it's just like
maybe he'll probably be up there with us soon, because I did think that is like he trains a lot. He competed at the last annual, and like he trains a lot. He's quite regular, and I thought his technique was I thought his technique was pretty good. But he'll be there. Yeah. Soon enough, I'm sure.
That's the thing about jiu-jitsu that a lot of people don't understand, that like the fulfillment and the joy of whether it's getting taps. Like your idea of a win or a success is getting a tap, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes for me it's getting a tap too, but mostly for me is not getting tapped.
Yeah.
Like if I don't get tapped, I win in my mind.
Yeah.
So like I roll with this firefighter, Rob, who only trains in the afternoon, so you probably don't see him that much. So I roll with this firefighter, and he used to just throw me around like nothing. But I've been able to hold him off for at least like 4 or 5 minutes last time, so I felt like I did a lot better. He was going for that armbar, and I knew, like, oh, by the way, like I found out that this grip is useless.
Yeah,
you should never use. Oh, do you know that already?
What, for defending an armbar?
No. Just for anything really. Like this grip is not a thing. Like if you're trying to get a crossface, this grip doesn't work. It's either this gable grip or this S grip. This, they call it the BS grip.
Yeah.
Oh, so you knew this all along?
Yeah,
I've been doing this. I've been doing this for the longest time. Like, no wonder my shit just keeps getting ripped apart.
Just from having it getting ripped apart.
I know. I thought this was the way to go, but now I learned that it's either this, the gable grip, or the S grip, not the BS grip. So if you take anything from this podcast, this grip is useless.
Forget the BS grip.
Forget the BS grip. Yeah.
Are you gonna compete at any events soon this year, or are you like?
What's the next one coming up?
Well, a bunch of the crew from the gym are gonna go compete in Ottawa in like February 23rd, because there's an event.
Yeah, but they have to fucking sort out their own accommodation. And shit.
It's got like qualification to Abu Dhabi though. I'm probably not going to compete until the very end of the year. Like I was trying to get up the stones to compete at white belt, and then they're like, "You're a blue belt now," and I'm like, "Well, I'm sure as shit not competing at blue belt now." Yeah. So you've like.
I only competed because I think that would help me get my blue belt.
Yeah.
That's why I competed. Yeah, but nah, I'm not that competitive with jiu-jitsu.
I think I'll have to look into like the age grades though, because like if there's
masters, right?
Well, I know there's a grade for over 40s because one of the dudes I've become quite good friends with at the gym is like about to turn 40 this year, and he's like, I'll start competing when I hit 40 because that's like a new age grade. So if there's something for over 35s, maybe I'll think about competing in that. But I still think that like probably not till the end of the year. Maybe I'll make my debut at the annual at the end of the year. Nice little casual tournament to get going and see how it is. But I imagine I'll still be getting punished by most of the blue belts by the end of the year as well. But I've got like all this free time on my hands, so I'm going to commit to at least 3 times a week. And I might see how much it costs to up my membership to more times a week, but I've just got to like get a new place, settle into a routine, see how much free time I really do have, because I am determined to hit more open mics, and I want to start doing classes at Second City. Now,
are they improv classes or stand up?
They do both improv and stand up classes.
If you're gonna take classes at Second City, just do improv.
I'm probably gonna do both. Like I'll probably start with a stand up class. What
is a fucking stand up class? Like what are they even?
Well, I actually got a 1-on-1 with like a professional comic on Sunday because I was the only one who showed up.
Takebacks you can share with the.
It kind of like he taught me a little bit about story structuring when we went through one of my bits, and he kind of like just gave me like. I can't remember, it's a bit of a blur. I kind of took notes on it all though, but he kind of like told me about like examples for when you'd use a list, when you'd make comparisons and all that sort of shit, and just kind of gave me some feedback on my material. It was quite, he pumped my tires, but it was good because like one of the things about my relationship breaking up is like I wanted to chase the dream, and like, having a professional stand-up laugh at some of my material came out, kind of was like, yep, I'm going to keep on following this. It kind of reinforced the fact that, I want to go for this. Went to an open mic on Monday, didn't actually get up because I haven't had time to rewrite or look at my material, but it was like still affirming to be in that environment. I probably am going to get up on Monday though, at the same open mic, Whalers Restaurant on St. Clair, close to St. Clair and Christie. If one of our dozen or so viewers wants to see me do like stand-up at a near empty open mic, come be one of the only audience members who isn't actually just a comic waiting for their turn to have a set. We'd love that.
Yeah. How are the comics here? I haven't been doing that many. Like
a couple of them were like pretty funny, but it was kind of this weird situation where like one of them like fought as an audience member and tried to like call me out and say some stuff, and he basically said something like, "What's with the hat?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just covering the bald spot." And like the whole audience laughed harder at me with that reply than they did with him trying to like kind of have his do his crowd work with me. And then shit got super awkward when he was like, "Oh, we've all got mums. You've got a mum, right?" And I'm like, not since she died about 3.5 years ago. And he's like, "I don't know where to go with this."
Well, the thing is with a lot of that, well, like a comic you can never feel sorry. You can never do that. Like the minute you go, "Oh shit, I don't know," then you've lost. You gotta just go even harder. You know, like those ones like
something like, "Yeah, I remember that because I fucked it to death" or something.
No. It's like exactly something like that. Like I had a crowd work moment when it was like let me try to remember. So it was like a husband and wife in the audience, and I was like talking to the husband, so like how long have you guys been together? It's like, so it's 6 years. Like, so you're almost done, you know. So we went about. So the story was his wife's mom just died.
Yeah,
and then the whole crowd went silent, and I was like, so let's dig her up and fuck her.
Yeah.
and then you just have to. You can't be apologetic about anything. Yeah, exactly. You know, no matter how fucking bad it is, you just have to go even harder.
Yeah, it's but if people hate me already,
let's make it even worse.
They're either going to hate me more, or let's see if I can maybe win one or two of them back by
exactly. But
see who.
But there's a fine line between going harder and being Kramer.
Yeah. You know? Exactly. Yeah, just like maybe still try and make a joke or two as opposed to just throwing slurs out there.
Yeah, I showed my dad the Kramer clip because he was a big Seinfeld fan.
Was this clip new information to him?
Yeah.
This visit.
Yeah, he never knew about it. He's pretty isolated.
Dude's just too busy buying new tech toys.
Exactly.
And
he's not in the scene.
Yeah,
He's still talking about the Beatles. When I'm like, there's so many different bands, and it's so fucking frustrating when you talk music to people of an older generation, because all they know is the Beatles. They're always gonna reference the fucking Beatles. I kind of hate the Beatles because of that now. I've never been a huge fan, but now every time I mention music to like my mom, my dad's like generation people, they go, "Oh, do you like the Beatles?"
Yeah.
Like, fuck the Beatles, god damn it. You know, it's like saying like you like movies, like, hey, do you know Titanic?
Yeah,
Titanic, right?
Yeah,
Titanic. You want to be, but what about Titanic? It's like only mentioning Titanic.
Fuck Titanic.
Exactly. So like when I would try to be like, this band Oasis is kind of like a Beatles tribute band, and they're like the louder and more energetic Beatles, but they're not the Beatles.
Yeah. Well, some people are just set in their ways. So, you can catch me at Whalers attending some open mic next week. Are you playing any music anywhere? You gonna?
Not right now. Not right now.
Yeah. You just people can keep on hitting up your Instagram.
Yeah.
For that, anything else you want to close out on before we wrap this bitch up?
No, I think we're good.
Os.